This is the plaintiff, Richard Bone. He says he was napping in his car, as he usually does on his lunch break, when all of a sudden it was as if the earth shook. He was jolted awake by the defendant when she banged her door into his car while exiting the parking spot next to him. He approached the woman in her office after lunch. She told him to get an estimate. And then, when it was time for her to pay up, she ghosted him. He's here suing for the $100 it's going to cost to fix the dent in his car. This is the defendant, Robin Spots. She says the plaintiff parks his car next to hers every day. And one day a bag she was carrying brushed the door of the plaintiff's car. Now he's trying to make a federal case out of it. He said nothing to her at the supposed time of the incident. Approached her a day later, and when she went to look at his car, she saw nothing and is not paying him because she caused no damage. She's accused of dinging a guy.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says he was taking a nap in his car when the defendant came along, got in her car next to his, pulled away and scratched his vehicle. But the defendant says she walked by his car and brushed up against it with her purse, and he's trying to make a federal case out of it. It's the case of dinging a guy, but good.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Baum. You and Ms. Spots work in the same building, is it?
It's Office Park.
Office Park, okay. So you have a lovely habit that you indulge in on a daily basis, and tell me about it because I got so jealous when I heard.
I just, after I eat my lunch, I go to the car and take a nap for 15, 20 minutes just to refresh myself before, the afternoon is up.
Okay, what do you do for a living, more or less?
Contracts manager for a defense company.
Okay, I am so impressed because I might spend 6-7 hours lying down in a bed and not being able. What do you have a button you press and you can just snooze for 20 minutes and refresh yourself? I'm amazed at that.
I've been doing it for years. It's just some biological thing. After 20 minutes, I'm up. So.
Wow, no alarm, no anything. Do you have to put an alarm on your nothing? You just literally close your eyes, fall asleep, wake up, and go back to work.
Correct.
You have no idea how jealous I am. Now, Ms. Spots, had you noticed him lying down in that car before throughout your time in that office park or not really?
Every day, when I went to my lunch, went to my car. He wasn't there napping when I came back, but he was always there, windows down.
Did you two know each other before this or no?
No. I have an assigned parking spot that he just has parked next to me. I've never actually seen him upright because he's always been napping. And I can relate only to the napping part when I was in my first trimester. I napped in a garage on my break for about 15 minutes. That I was a baby growing in me, so I didn't really have a button.
I had a bunch of babies growing in me, and they did nothing for my sleep. In fact, they interrupted my sleep. Okay. But so, Mr. Baum, according to you, on one fine day in question, you are rudely awakened to what?
I was sleeping and I heard a noise and the car shook. And as I was waking up, I noticed the defendant's car backing out. So I didn't get out and confront her immediately. He had already mostly backed out at that point. So I waited till about, an hour after lunch, and went next door and just informed her that she had hit my car. And her response was, "Let me take a look at the damage." And so she opened the door and I showed her where the car.
What did she hit your car with? I'm not understanding. Did she open her door and swing it into you? What was it she hit your car with?
Yes, it was the car door. And it hit the lower passenger side quarter panel of the car.
And then what happened? So she doesn't say, "No, I didn't." She walks out with you. She looks at the damage and says what?
She said, "Get me an estimate," which I did the next day.
When you say I gave her an estimate, was it a written estimate for $100?
Yes. Unfortunately, I've looked everywhere for it. I cannot find it, but I do have the receipt.
Yeah, because neither can I.
Oh, okay.
You have it. Okay. Can you do me a favor? Will you bring that up to slowly? There we go. Back up a little bit. Okay, so it was an estimate for $100. Did that seem a little hefty to you, Ms. Spots? Or did you agree to pay $100?
It seemed
You hit his car, didn't you?
No, I don't believe I hit his car. I didn't hit his car.
Welcome back to the People's Court. The plaintiff says the defendant told him to get an estimate and then ghosted him. But the defendant claims she examined the car and there wasn't a speck of damage, so go pound sand. Let's listen.
I had just gotten my car back it was hit by a drunk driver at home. And it had been in the shop for over 2 months. So when I initially saw $100, I thought, that's it? Okay. Whether I did or didn't, I was, thought, okay, I'll just pay to go make it go away.
Yeah, but here's my problem that I'm having. You act guilty as can be. Like, you act like you know you nicked his car because you walk out with him, you look at the damage, and you tell him to get an estimate. If I hadn't hit his car, I wouldn't be asking him to get an estimate. One of the things you said in the answer to the complaint was, well, I had a lot of bags. Maybe one of the bags hit it. I mean, why were you under the impression that you maybe did hit his car? We kind of know when we hit someone's car.
Right, and I know he's inside. So if I thought I hit his car, or if I hit his car, I would not have just pulled away. No, knowing he's inside, I wouldn't do that even in a parking lot, knowing that someone is not inside. If I caused damage, especially coming off of what had happened to me.
So I guess my question is, why isn't your answer when he goes in to see you and says you hit my car this afternoon? Why isn't your answer, no, I didn't? Why is your answer to walk out, look at it, and say, give me an estimate?
Well, I work in a very small office, and he came in and announced, the woman or whoever has the orange Volkswagen Tiguan, you hit my car. So my initial instinct was to not disrupt the rest of the office and to go outside and see what he was referring to.
So then you tell him to get you an estimate, which sounds like you're willing to pay. And then he tells you it's $100 and you tell him, I'll pay you because you felt like the $100 wasn't all that much. What made you change your mind and decide that the first thing you do is tell him, you know what, I've thought about it. I think I'll go halves with you, right?
Yes. He said he didn't want to involve insurance. I said, okay, all I know is get an estimate, and I didn't see the damage. I assumed I'd never see anything again because I didn't see any damage. I thought if he went
somewhere to get an estimate. So let's see the pictures of the damage that we're talking about. Hold on one second. Do you have another picture where you take a few steps back?
I had the person at DentWorks use a specialized lighting, and you can see that right in the middle where the dent is.
Yeah, no, I know it's sometimes hard to, you can see car damage and it's hard to capture in a picture because I've been doing this for many, many moons, but it's a tiny dent.
It's the dent.
But it's also a tiny price tag when it comes to, all right, so you walk out, you look at the damage, you tell him to get you an estimate, you tell me in the answer to the complaint that maybe one of your bags hit it, you don't know. What'd you have in your bags, woman, that you think one of your bags might have hit and caused the damage?
I'm a mom of a toddler, and so I am the bag lady.
So you just had, but what was in your bag that would have made you make the following statement? Maybe my bag hit it and caused the dent.
Well, I have like a backpack bag, and I only had one strap on. I had a couple folders and a notebook in my hand, and my phone was on speaker.
All right, listen, this is a close call. This is a close call, but I've got to tell you, your immediate behavior right afterwards, asking for an estimate, agreeing to pay, and giving suppositions about what you think might have hit it is not consistent with someone who's like, what are you talking about? I never hit your car. It's just not. So I'm going to go ahead and order you to pay the $100. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff prevails. He is going to get $100. Ms. Spots, the defendant, looked like she wanted to say something more to the judge. What did you want to say to Judge Milian?
I wanted to say to the judge that he claimed that I hit his car in 2 places, not just one, and that is why I offered to pay him half. Could I have hit him once? It's possible. Would I have knowingly done that and been dishonest? No.
All right. Well, listen, you didn't bring up that second debt. That's very interesting. In any event, the judge has found against you, and you're going to have to give him the $100 finally. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Spots. Mr. Baum, let me ask you something. Did you say she had hit your car twice? That's what she said.
There were 2 dents right next to each other, and actually we went when we inspected the damage, she opened her car door, and the main dent fit right into her car door. So I don't know if it was a reverberation, but there was a much smaller dent right next to that one. But the major dent is what Judge Millian saw in the pictures.
Well, I hope you're happy. You're getting $100.
I am.
It was a fight, but you're getting it. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations. All right. With that, it's time for more after the verdict conversation between our judges. Here's Judge Millian and her husband, John. Judge John. He's a real judge, too.
Some pretty strong circumstantial evidence presented here by the plaintiff that the defendant, in fact, hit her car or was carrying a shopping bag with an anvil in it or something that struck the bumper of the car.
What am I
right?
saying? You know how heavy that can be, because I'll just turn around and say, can you carry this?
Exactly.
This is really
I've
heavy.
been carrying those all my life. So you were convinced, certainly, right?
Well, I just think that, these are always close calls.
Yeah.
I believe the plaintiff that he did see, that he's waking up, watches her go, and goes that same day.
And saying send me an estimate is almost like consciousness of guilt.
It's total consciousness of guilt.
Send me the estimate.
It's total consciousness, especially if, and this kind of came out for the first time in the hallway discussion, but if they actually lined up the cars,
right?
Because neither of them had said
They
that in their
well?
pleadings. Yes, and that's, I guess, what convinced them, I can't get out of whatever it is.
So it
she
makes
seemed like a
sense.
very nice lady. I just feel like she felt there wasn't enough proof, but most of the proof was coming from her. Because, sometimes when it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's kind of a duck.
And
right?
this is why I always park my car way the hell at the end of the parking lot, because I'm kind of squirrely about my cars.
Yes.
And, try to make sure it doesn't get dinged.
Yeah, in 90-degree weather where I have to walk that entire distance.
Well, thank God for these paintless dent repair guys. They'll show up at your house in your driveway. They come with a lamp and some popsicle sticks.
Yeah, and like a
suction
magnet,
cup,
and they take
it's amazing. They'll turn
really
water into wine
cool.
with these things.
It is kind of cool. If I were him, I'd be more worried that my sleep is going to get interrupted from now on. Because if she's real angry, if it were me, I'd be making a lot of noise when those windows are down and I'm walking by him and he's sleeping.
Not too many good naps headed his way.
Not a lot of good naps, but I don't think she's that kind of person.
I doubt it.
God bless her.
So a viewer wants to know, I was supposed to get married, but COVID hit and we postponed it for a year. Can I collect interest on the deposit I gave the catering hall because they will have my money for a whole entire year in their bank account? Well, it depends on what the contract says. I don't think you automatically have a right to get interest because the company didn't breach the contract. It's a COVID issue. I think what you might want to do is go to them and say, give me my money back. We've canceled it because of COVID. See what they do. That'll do it for this case. Let's go back into the courtroom. The litigants are there.